Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors.
The powerful alien Pyron invades Earth to add to his collection of planets that he has devoured. The world's most fearsome monsters are the last defense of mankind. Darkstalkers, known in Japan as Vampire, is a fighting game series and media franchise created by Capcom. The series is set in a pastiche gothic fiction universe with characters based on monsters from international folklore, and features a stylized 2D graphic style. Its first game, Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors, was released in arcades in 1994, and its third and final main game is Vampire Savior, released in 1997. Darkstalkers introduced gameplay concepts used in later Capcom fighting games, including the Street Fighter Alpha and Marvel vs. Capcom series. Game, Darkstalkers, The Night Warriors, US. Vampire, The Night Warriors, JP. Released, 1994. Re-released, 2022, Capcom Fighting Collection.
Maximoff, race, vampire. He is often considered the serious protagonist and organized the first fighting tournament between the character, a vampire lord formerly living in the demon world Makai. He was banished after attempting a coup. After defeating and consuming Pyron, he seeks to subjugate his rival Morrigan.
Is a British werewolf and karate master seeking to escape his curse. He utilizes nunchuck-based martial arts down an alternate version of Talbane. Dark Talbane is a playable secret character in certain iterations of Vampire Savior, depicted as his malevolent doppelganger. Talbane proved significantly more popular in the West than in Japan.
Name, Victor von Gerdenheim. Race, reanimated human construct. He is a large German humanoid, modeled after Frankenstein's monster. Seeking to fight Perron, to prove to his creator that he's the strongest in the world, he returns home, where his is informed by his sister, a homunculus named Emily, that their creator was already dead. Later, in Vampire Savior, after Emily starts to malfunction, he sacrifices himself to revive her.
Name, Lord Raptor. Race, zombie. Called Sable Zarek in Japan. Is an Australian rock and roll musician, revived as a zombie by his Lord Ozumu after sacrificing himself and his audience. He travels with La Malta, a creature assigned by Ozumu to spy on the overly ambitious raptor.
Name, Morrigan Ansland. Race, Succubus. Considered the most popular Darkstalkers character amongst fans of the series is Dmitri Maximoff's rival. A powerful succubus, she is the adopted daughter of Belial Ansland, ruler of the demon world Makai. She has little interest in assuming responsibility, however, and is instead a carefree layabout. She merges with her sister self, Lilith, at the end of Vampire Savior and gains more power. Morrigan has since gone on to appear in many Capcom titles.
Name: Sasquatch. Race: Bigfoot. Sasquatch is a rotund yeti who travels from Canada to investigate Piran after the aliens' arrival. Upon returning home in Vampire Savior, he discovers his people have been kidnapped and tries to rescue them.
Name: Rikuo. Race: Merman. Called Albeth in Japan, is a merman who believes himself the sole survivor of his race after an earthquake in the Amazon caused by Piran devastates his kingdom. After discovering survivors, he has a son who he rescues in Vampire Savior, only to discover another race of merfolk. The name Rikuo is derived from actor Riku Browning, who played the titular creature in The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Name: Bishaman. Race: demon-cursed samurai. He is a ghostly samurai inhabiting a cursed suit of armor called Hanya, which drives him into a blood frenzy. After Piran's defeat, the curse is broken, and the freed Bishaman and his wife become priests. Later in Vampire Savior, the armor revives itself by gathering souls, but is sealed again by Bishaman. An alternate version of Bishaman Obero. A Bishaman is a playable secret character in certain iterations of Vampire Savior, depicted as Bishaman dominating the cursed armor and sword tandem Hanya and Keen, instead of being enslaved by it.
Name: Felicia. Race: We're Cat. The cat girl Felicia dreams of being a famous singer and dancer in Las Vegas. She eventually runs an orphanage as a noon. She has since appeared in a multitude of games developed by Capcom. Felicia was originally envisioned by Alex Jimenez to be a woman from Africa with short hair that could transform into a panther.
Name: Anacharis. Race: Mummy. He was once the pharaoh of a powerful empire. After being revived by Piran as a mummy, he seeks to regain his rule. At the end of Darkstalkers, he travels back in time to restore his empire, and later, after he learns its destruction is unavoidable, he transports his kingdom to a new dimension to keep it safe.
Name: Hutsul. Race: Robot. Called Phobos in Japan, are a series of robots meant to serve Piran after causing the extinction of the dinosaurs. They remained dormant until unearthed by Mayans, who utilized them as guardians. When Piran returns to conquer Earth centuries later, he revives them to serve him again, where they act as an unplayable boss in the first Darkstalkers game. In Darkstalker 3, a Hutsul becomes the guardian of a young boy, Cecil, after he falls into the ruins where they lie dormant.
Name: Piran. Race: Alien. He is an alien that resembles living fire, seeking to conquer Earth as a prize. He acts as the main antagonist and is an unplayable boss in the first Darkstalkers title.
Night Warriors, Darkstalker Revenge.
Despite being considered a sequel to Darkstalkers, The Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge has the same plot and endings as the previous game, only adding stories and endings to the new characters and the, now playable, bosses. Piran invades Earth to add to his collection of planets that he has devoured. The world's most fearsome monsters are the last defense of mankind. Two Darkstalker hunters make their presence known and join in the fray. Donovan Bane and Shienkeo are dark hunters who are out to hunt the other Darkstalkers in the game, hence the Japanese title, Vampire Hunter. Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, known in Japan as Vampire Hunter, Darkstalkers Revenge, is a 1995 arcade fighting game produced by Capcom and the second in the Darkstalkers series, following Darkstalkers, The Night Warriors, 1994. Game, Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, US. Vampire Hunter, Darkstalkers Revenge, JP. Released, 1995. Re-released, 2022, Capcom Fighting Collection.
Name Jiankeo, race Zhongxi Chinese hopping vampire. Called Lei Lei in Japan, is a Zhongxi, with her sister Mei Ling known in Japan as Lin Lin acting as a seal to help keep her powers in check. Seeking to free their mother's soul from a powerful curse, they succeed and are reincarnated as a pair of young girls. They are later pulled into Jez's domain during the events of Vampire Savior, where they can assume their previous forms, and eventually return home.
Name, Donovan Bane. Race, Dampier in Balkan folklore. A Dampier is a mythical creature that is the result of a union between a vampire and a human. He is a Dampier monster hunter with a massive sword with a curved end. Acting as a Buddhist monk, he does so to atone for his own cursed blood. However, the evil of those he kills infects him and drives him insane.
Vampire Hunter 2, Darkstalkers Revenge.
Vampire Hunter 2 features the same character roster and soundtrack as Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, which was known as Vampire Hunter in Japan. The gameplay is the same as with Night Warriors, though slightly tweaked so that the characters play similar to their appearance in Vampire Savior. Despite being considered a sequel to Darkstalkers, The Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge has the same plot and endings as the previous game, only adding stories and endings to the new characters and the, now playable, bosses. Vampire Hunter 2 was released August 1997 simultaneously with Vampire Savior 2. Both games were not direct sequels but altered versions of Vampire Savior. The main difference between Vampire Savior and Vampire Hunter was the removal of Jida Doma, BB Hood, QB, and Lilith. In their place the missing Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge characters Donovan Bane, Witzel, and Pyron, who did not appear originally in Vampire Savior, were used. Along with minor tweaks and changes to the characters' move lists and the combo system, removal of air chains, the main difference between the two upgrades and the original Vampire Savior are in its character roster. Both versions feature Oboro Bishaman and Shadow as secret characters, as well as Marionette, with which the fights consist of mirror matches, e.g. Morrigan vs Morrigan, Dimitri vs Dimitri. Vampire Hunter 2 also retains the music from the original Vampire Hunter, while Vampire Savior 2 uses the music from the original Vampire Savior. Game, Vampire Hunter 2, Darkstalkers, Revenge, US. Released, 1997. Re-released, 2022, Capcom Fighting Collection.
Secret character, Oburo Bishaman. To select Oburo Bishaman, highlight Bishaman and hold start, then any punch of kick button. Differences: he regains some of his old moves, as well as being supplied new ones, while losing the soul-based special move regular Bishaman has, and you'll notice in gameplay that he doesn't have them floating around himself, and he has some new intros and victory poses as well. Oburo Bishaman is an alternate version of Bishaman, who originally appeared as a boss in Vampire Savior under specific conditions at the end of an arcade mode run. This version of Bishaman is a depiction of what Bishaman would be like if he truly conquered and mastered the evil in the armor that intended to possess him. As a result, Bishaman is in complete control of both himself and the armor, instead of the armor taking control over him. Consequentially, he loses the ability to send the soul fires out to possess an opponent, but he gains some new abilities. He has slightly different colors and is shown to don and remove the armor at will before and after a fight. Secret character, Shadow. To select Shadow, highlight the random select button and press start 5 times, then press any punch or kick button. If done right, you will be assigned a random character with Shadow looming behind him or her. Alternatively, you can highlight a character of your choice. Press start 3 times, and then do the procedure to using Shadow, so you can start with a specific character instead. As you may be able to tell from the description and the picture, Shadow isn't a regular character. You will be playing as a random character when you first select him, and afterwards, he will leave the body he was using and possess your opponents. On the victory screen, he has his own theme and will briefly flash the victory portrait of your defeated opponent. On the score ranking, he won't have his name displayed, and instead will have a question mark in its place. Shadow is a malevolent blue phantom-like creature that jumps from body to body, allowing him to use the opponent he just defeated. Shadow's goal seems to be stealing souls from anyone in order to get stronger and learn everyone's powers, weakness, and secrets that only he can access. Secret character, Marionette. To select Marionette, highlight random select and press start 7 times, then press any punch or kick button. If done right, Marionette will come swinging upwards. She's similar to Shadow, but instead of turning into your defeated opponent, she will mimic your current opponent with a unique intro. On the victory screen, she has her own theme, which depending on the game, has a happier or sadder tone, and will display a silhouette of your next opponent. Marionette is a wind-up toy-like puppet creature,
resembling a woman with ball-jointed doll qualities in a leaf-like dress that looks similar to a ballerina outfit, jester hat, and heels with short hair, and a wind-up key on her back.
Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampire.
Jida, one of the high nobles of Makai, is resurrected after a premature death long ago. Seeing the state of the demon world, he decides that the only way to save the world is to recreate it. To this end, he conjures a dimension known as Majigan, to which he summons worthy souls to feed his new world. As luck would have it, those souls belong to the Night Warriors from the first 2 games, in addition to 3 newcomers. The game retains the character roster of Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, though omitting Donovan, Witzel, and Pyron from the lineup. Taking their place are 4 new characters, Jida Doma, Lilith, QB, and Baby Bonnie Hood. Vampire Savior eschews the traditional round-based system in favor of what is dubbed damage gauge system. Battles take place during a period of 1 round, with each fighter having 2 life markers, by default, which are diminished after one's life bar is completely emptied, similar to Rare's Killer Instinct. The player can also regain a portion of their life during battle if they avoid taking any further damage. The game also introduces the Dark Force system, which allows players to activate special abilities unique to each character for a limited period of time and deal permanent, irrevocable damage. Game: Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampire. Alternatively called Darkstalkers 3. Released 1997. Re-released 2022, Capcom Fighting Collection.
Name: Lilith. Race: Demon Succubus. She is a fragment of Morrigan's soul separated from her as an infant to keep her power in check. Jeddah later discovers this fragment, and after giving it a form resembling a younger Morrigan with pink short hair, tasks her with luring worthy souls to his domain. Meanwhile, Lilith seeks to reunite and take control of Morrigan's body, which she sees as rightfully hers. Lilith was originally designed to be androgynous, with her gender officially listed as unknown.
Name: Baby Bonnie Hood. Race: human serial killer. Known as Buleta in Japan, is a young European girl armed with an Uzi and several explosives. Dressed similarly to Little Red Riding Hood, she travels with her dog Harry and hunts monsters for money. She is intended to personify everything dark and self-obsessed humanity.
Name: QB. Race: Soul Bee, short for Queen Bee, is from a race of humanoid insects called Soul Bees that at one time served Jeddah. Driven near extinction after his initial death, They now seek to consume and breed rapidly.
Name, Jedadoma. Race, shapeshifting blood demon. He is the main antagonist of Vampire Savior, a nobleman demon in Makai. He was originally destroyed, but was later resurrected, finding that Makai has devolved into chaos. He seeks to combine all the souls into one singular being, luring the other character to his domain. Jedda's body is able to shapeshift and recover quickly from self-maiming, allowing him to weaponize his own blood. In early drafts of the game, he was originally intended to be Morrigan's brother.
To select Dark Talbane or Dark Gallon, highlight John Talbane, Gallon and hold start, then press 3 punches simultaneously or 3 kicks for the alternate color. Differences: Dark Talbane doesn't really have any notable gameplay changes. It's essentially a skin that makes him red and makes his body flicker, as well as giving him a different intro and changing the sprite of one of his supers into the one from Night Warriors, Vampire Hunter, Darkstalker's Revenge.
Vampire Savior 2, the Lord of Vampire.
Released in Japan in 1997, Vampire Savior 2 was released alongside Vampire Hunter 2 and uses the same gameplay mechanics as Vampire Savior. The game adds Night Warriors, Darkstalker's Revenge characters Donovan Bane, Witzel, and Pyron to the Vampire Savior cast while omitting John Talbane, Gallon, Rikuo, Allbath, and Sasquatch. Vampire Savior 2 retains most of the cast, as the characters John Talbane, Rikuo, and Sasquatch were removed from the roster and opening themes in order to incorporate Donovan Bane, Witzel, and Pyron. The primary default color schemes for CPU opponents are now the default color schemes from Night Warriors, Darkstalker's Revenge. Selected by pressing high punch. Character-specific boss fights are now replaced with a singular boss fight against Jedadoma, with only Jeda himself receiving a unique ending. Like Vampire Hunter 2, there are no pre-fight dialogues for hidden challenges. Pre-bosses fights are no longer varied but set, so the player must fight Darkstalker's original boss, Pyron. Alongside Shadow, a new character, Marionette, has been added. Marionette allows the player to fight in mirror matches throughout the game. Like Vampire Hunter 2, Shadow receives an addition 5 colors to his palette and stages share the same recoloring. Aboro Bishaman is now a playable character through code input on the character select screen. Donovan's Night Warrior stage, Revenger Rooster, is reeded and recolored as well. Oddly, and unlike Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior 2 uses Night Warriors, Vampire Hunter in Japan, default color scheme for its CPU characters, selected in Vampire Savior with high punch, while Vampire Hunter 2 uses Vampire Savior's medium punch color scheme. Exceptions to this rule include Lord Raptor, Zabel, whose Night Warrior's color is selected with low kick, and Witzel, Phobos, whose color is selected with medium punch. Minor differences include health and EX special bars colors and the font used for winning quotes. Game: Vampire Savior 2, The Lord of Vampire. Released, 1997. Re-released, 2022, Capcom Fighting Collection.
ご覧いただきありがとうございます。